Alright guys, listen, this is Charlie Brawley. What I'm going to do in this video, I'm going to show you why I believe I've completely broken the mold in terms of our abilities to completely dominate the market. I've done something I've never done before, and that was be able to create a system where I could decipher the least amount of volatility happening in the game. I call it volatility trapping. In a way where I have 4 different algorithms. And again, I actually did a video that I have just posted. You guys go take a look at that because I kind of describe what I do and how I do it. But basically what I have here is 4 different algorithms that 3 of the 4 in every game that I play will actually win, which means only 1 of these algorithms will lose. And as a result, as the games evolve and go by, I'm able to identify which of these algorithms has the highest winning percentage. And as a result, I'm able to play on it. And as you can see, all these winnings, that's something that we now can take complete advantage over and make a ton of money. I currently have a group of users who are currently doing this, and right now we're averaging anywhere between 30 and 40% between every 3 and 4 days. We're also growing, compounding every day, and the average user earns anywhere between 4 and 8 units every day and consistently, and that's how we're able to make the money that we're currently starting to make. But we're doing it in a way where it's completely guided and controlled, and we could actually know where the actual best algorithm to play in, because when I document this spreadsheet, every game that we play, each algorithm has a pattern, and 3 of the 4 always win. So you may have one that loses, but 3 of them will always win. Because of that reason, you're going to always have an outlier algorithm that's most consistent. For example, this is at 92%, whereas these other algorithms are at 85%, 62%, and then this one's at 62%. Sometimes you can have volatility in just one algorithm, and you'll have 3 algorithms that are all winning, right? And the only thing we're going to be doing is just playing completely on the algorithm that has the highest winning percentage, and that's how we're able to get our 4 units, 8 units every day. But what I'm going to do in this video, guys, I'm going to show you how we can completely demolish and I mean demolish the market doing this. So the first thing we're going to do, this is not going to be so much of a training, more so than it is a showing. I'm just going to go and I'm going to populate the algorithm. So I'm going to assume this is game 1. And again, if what I'm showing you doesn't make sense, I do somewhat of a training in the prior video, but what I'll try and do is discuss what I'm doing as I go along. But I don't want to make this a long video, and also I'm going to be using RNG, and I really don't like RNG from a perspective of real-time play because it's a computerized system. But I think we're going to be able to use this for what this presentation is, because it's going to make it a lot faster, and I don't really even think RNG is capable of competing with what we do. So basically, the first thing we do, we populate game 1s through 3. We don't play them, but we're going to put the outcomes in here, and as the game evolves, each game that we go through, I'm going to populate which of these algorithms were winners and losers. So we're going to copy, paste, and clear and act like we're going to another game. I'm going to get the next 3 outcomes. Let's do this faster. I'm going to get the next 3 outcomes just to simulate what a game actually looks like. So this is assuming that we're already in part of a current game, all right? So the last 3 outcomes were BPP, or banker, player, player. All right, so right up here is what this thing is called, a trend outcome. So hands 1, hands 2 are going to be player 1, player 2 for every game we play. And right here where it says 1 and 2, this is where we actually put the outcome of the current game. So at this point, I know that the current outcomes between hands 1 and hands 2, the trend outcome was negative, negative. So the algorithm that would have lost would be the opposite of this. All right, and again, If you want more of a thorough breakdown of how I'm doing this, go and look at the previous video that I just posted. But I'm going to make this kind of quick. And again, I'm going to still try and show you guys. Let's see here. 1%. That can't be right. Oh, no. I'm still going to show you guys what's actually going on. So, for example, in algorithm 1, you have a 0% win rate. Let me do this really quick. You have a 0% win rate, and then algos 2, 3, and 4 all have a 100%. All right. So what we're going to do, we're going to give it one more. And as you can see, the volatility is only happening in algo 1. So I'm going to copy, paste, clear. I'm going to let the dealer deal out another hand, which is a tie. So we will repeat. We don't ever document ties. And let's get the next two: player, banker, banker. All right. All right, so in this case, you can see here algorithm 3 would have lost and all the other ones would have won. All right, so right now the volatility is only happening in 1. And as you can see, the other 3 in every game so far have all won. So in game 4 is actually where we're going to start playing. And you could literally choose which of these. If they're all at 100%, you could choose any one of them. But what I'm going to do, just to make this simple, I'm just going to choose algorithm 2. All right, so we're going to copy, paste, clear, and then the dealer will deal out the next hand. All right, we're going to put player here. All right, so for hand 1, player 1 represents hand 1. This says negative, and negative is always going to be the opposite of what it says to play here. So we'll put our chip on banker. All right, so banker 1 immediately out of the gate. So let's go ahead and give ourselves a 1 unit here, a 1 win there. So what we have to do now is get the next outcome so that we can populate all the other algorithms so we could decipher which one was the loser. And I can tell you now, algo 4 was the loser. And after we've done that, we're going to now populate. Now we were doing player 1 literally won that on the first hand, so player 2 didn't have to play anything. And the reason why I often tell people to do team play is because we are really the real deal. And as we're growing in our money, we don't want to become a target. And by having a team, you never really become a target. So what I'm going to do now is get the outcomes for the next two games so that I can get an even more accurate description on which of these algorithms are going to be the top performing one. So let's go ahead and get the next 2 games outcomes. So that was banker, banker, banker. All right, I'm going to plug this into the sheet, banker, 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 and we're going to populate which one won. Algorithm 2 was the loser. All right, so we're going to go into the next one. I'm going to deal the next 3 just to make this quick. And again, I'm doing RNG so that I don't have a long video. Don't want to make it a long video. If I was doing this live, it'd take a much longer time. All right, so the outcome was player, banker, banker, banker. All right. Going backwards. All right, so this is the last one, and this was the outcome. Or actually, oh, did I do it right? Banker, banker, sorry. All right, so player was the last one. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and input the outcomes on the algorithm. And algorithm 3 was the loser. All right, and algorithm 4. All right, so now look at this, guys. All right, so you can see here we have 2 algorithms that are both tied for first place, if you will, in terms of the least amount of volatility. So we can actually we have 3 of them that are all kind of equally dispersed in terms of the highest performer, because most of the volatility has happened in 1. So what I'm going to do to make things simple, since they're all tied for the highest performing one, I'm just going to use this one, which is algo 2. All right. right, so for hand one, player one will be negative, which means we're going to put chip on player. Banker comes out, and player two will be negative, which means he's going to also do player, but he's going to do a double on player, because when you lose, you do one progression. All right, so a tie comes out, so we're going to repeat that, and we win. All right, so let's populate all of the winning algos. Remember, 3 of the 4 will be winners. All right, so we have an advantage. Even if we weren't looking at the highest performing one, we just have a simple advantage just off of that. All right, so player one actually lost, so we're going to put a -1 for him, and then player two made it up with the 2 units. So as a team, we're currently +2 units. And again, you could do this individually, but as you grow, you certainly want to look at doing this as a team, so that you're not a target, because as I mentioned before, soon here the casino will be a go-to for people to try and make a living, because they're going to be losing their jobs to AI and to all these new proxy wars. All right, so player, banker, player. All right, so what I'm doing now is getting the next 2 games outcomes, because what I want to do is see which of these algorithms are still performing at the highest level. All right, so let me go ahead and input. We've already identified algo 1 was the loser. All right, so that's the first one. Let's go ahead and get the second game. And again, if you're doing this live, it will take a little more time, so you'd have to be patient in the process in doing it. So banker, player. All right, and even though we actually are winning doing this with RNG, we actually are winning with RNG. I don't recommend you doing more than 4 units in a day if you were to play it in RNG. Be very light. Don't do it all day in RNG. Be very limited. But in a live setting, you have more realistic outcomes, and I'd certainly prefer you go live. All right, so as a result of waiting for those next 2, we now have a better depiction on which algorithm is top performing. So this one is at 89%, 78, 78, and 56. So we want to go on the highest performing one. All right, so here we're going to go on algo 4, and player 1 is going to start at positive, player 2 is going to be a negative. So in order to go to the next game, we copy, we paste, we clear. We deal the next outcome. All right, so for algo 4, the first one's going to be a positive. So player 1, hand 1, positive, which is going to be the exact same thing as it is. The negative is just the opposite of whatever this is. So we're going to do 1 play on player, and it wins. All right, so we're going to wait for the next outcome, so that we can populate. We don't play it, we're just getting the information so we can populate the algos, because what we want to do, we want to decipher the trend. All right, and as you can see here, algorithm number 4 is at 90%. So you can see where the volatility is happening. It's happening in these 3. And remember what I said, it can't happen like that in all 4 of them. It's impossible, because 3 of the 4 are winners. So you'll never have volatility like that in all 4. Never, ever. That's why it's impossible, literally impossible to lose. All right, so in this case, we are now up to 3. And what we're going to do is just wait. We're going to virtually watch the next 2 games so that we can get a bead on which algorithm is going to remain at the highest performer, because they can change. So banker, player. And when I say can change, all right, so let's go ahead and populate here. This one was the loser. So you can see algo 2 is currently on a very volatile streak. So we know not to come here. It's at 64%. All right. And as you can see, algo 4 is still at 91%. But there's possibility that this next one could be a loser. It's possible. But by waiting a couple, we have an even better depiction on which algorithm is going to be the best apropos fit for us to actually join. All right, so now let's go ahead and copy, paste, clear. And again, you could do this by yourself, or you can do this with a team. You could do it as a team. I actually have this written out for a team. All right. And again, anytime there is a tie, they're going to give you your money back, and we do not notate or play any of the ties. All right. So the last three outcomes were, all right, so let's go ahead and populate the sheet. And what do you know? Look at what happened. Literally, this algo 4 lost. However, it is still at 83%, and so is algo 3. But considering, now again, you could do a coin toss between the two, but considering that we actually were on this one last, I'll say let's just stick to this one since it's still the top performing one. Even though it's tied, we were on this one last. Let's just stick right here. So in this game, we're actually going to go on algo 4. So we copy, we paste, we clear. All right, so algo 4, P1 or player 1, hand 1 is going to be positive on banker, which means we're going to play banker. Player comes out, and then it says for player 2, it's going to be negative. So a negative is going to be opposite for hand 2, player 2. It's going to be opposite of this, so that will be player. So we will do a double bet on player. And it wins. So now what we're going to do is populate the sheet. So algo 1 was the loser, positive, positive. You can see here this was negative, negative, clearly the loser. Anytime it's opposite of this, that you clearly know it was the loser. Everything else will be winners. All right. And this is how we get to those 4 units. Very slick, quick, and easy. I'll do a couple more and then we will conclude this one, and I'm going to continue to do more content like this. And for those who, if you have a team, you only need 1 person or 2 for a team. You don't need no more than 2. Banker, player, banker, player, banker. So you don't need more. Okay, so algorithms 1 also was another loser again. So you can see how this is volatility trapping. All right. And again, because of this sterile market, the variables, when we say variables, we're talking player, banker. Those are called variables, right? Now, what creates those variables are these outcomes. You see this 6 and you see that 9. Those are the variables that create the outcomes, and they are no more than 9. So that's what it's called, limited variables. In the stock market, you don't have limited variables that just end at 9. Those things, that's why they call it volatile or bull markets or bear markets. It's because there's volatility up and down, a lot of which they can't be calculated. All right. So anyway, so with that said, we have that outcome for that one. And let's get one more, because we want to go about 2 games. After we play, we're going to do a virtual for 2 games. That way we can see which direction the process is moving. The algos are moving. So the last 3 outcomes was banker, banker, player. All right. All right. So let's populate the algo. And look at this. This is what happens when you're patient and you allow the algorithms to actually perform without having to play. All right, so look at this. So in the second game of our virtual watching, algorithm 4 is now at 80% and algorithm 3 is at 87%. So we're going to actually play the next game, but we're only going to play on algo 3 this time because it's the highest performer. All right, so let's switch to algo 3. And that was a tie. We always omit the ties. We never play ties. Banker. Oh, sorry guys. Sorry guys. We should have played that one. All right, so the outcome was banker. We would have lost. So in this case, right here, we would have played on algo 3 negative. So in playing negative, we would have put our chip on player and we would have lost. All right. So now algo for player 2, hand 2 is a positive. So we would do a double on banker. All right. Sorry, I went a little too quick there. A tie comes out, so we're going to repeat. And we win. Why did we win that? Because the volatility is being trapped. We're able to identify where the volatility is happening. And we're able to systematically see it by the percent. We're actually able to know that. All right, so in this case, this was the loser, this was the winner, and that was the winner. And we won again. So now we are up to 5 units. This is the new wave, guys. This is something, wow. I mean, I'm impressed with it. Hopefully you guys are impressed with it, because I don't know of any other system that we could quantify by the statistical analysis, the patterns. It's, you know, it's one thing to have an algorithm and a pattern-based algorithm, but to now be able to formulate that through a statistical advantage, and we could see the performance of them all, and we know which one to actually perform on, gives us this sort of advantage. So listen, guys, I'm going to go ahead and conclude here. We've reached a 5. I'm going to continue to also do more content like this. Again, this is great for a team. So you have you or a friend who'd like to do this. I will definitely give you, I mean, there's training that I kind of provided in the previous video that I started talking about this. You can look at that. But if you want to do this, the only thing you're going to need is a team. You just need you and another person. With a team, you guys could do a lot more, particularly when it loses. You guys could really smash this thing. And again, this is the highest, the most efficient way that I could even think of where you can make the most proper wager in this game, period. And again, you don't necessarily need a team, but as you're going into your money, a team is going to be really, really important, because you do not want to be a target. permutationspro@gmail.com. Thank you guys for all the well wishes. For those who had wished me a lot of well wishes, knowing what happened in my family over the last 2.5 years. I've lost both parents, seemingly lost my entire family. Don't have any children, so I'm really out here in this world somewhat alone. But I really thank you guys for all the well wishes, and even the people who had been saying, I get a lot of emails asking for more content. And so this is the kind of content I'm kind of delivering now. I'll also do more content that's more centered around processes and ways in which we think. How do we approach the game? How do we see the game? Different things of that sort. But if you want to use this process and this algorithm, it's a fairly updated algorithm and process. So something very, very great. And again, our team, we have a current team right now. At least I have a current team. We play every day, and we're averaging between 4 and 8 units every day. And we're doing about 30%. And I know this sounds crazy, but we're literally doing about 30% growth every 3-4 days. So this is, and you can do multiple sessions throughout the day. So if you have any, if you'd like to join, again, permutationspro@gmail.com. Also, too, people always want to know how much is it going to cost. at this point, it's not going to cost you more than $100 a week. And then the only thing I'll want is a tip after you've had success. All right. So after you've had success, the only thing I want is a really, really nice tip. And it's just $100 per player a week, just so that I could host it for you. I could be here to cut it on and off, answer any questions. There's a lot of help desk stuff, so I have to be able to take something in order to keep this functioning so that you guys can make money. And again, there's not really a percentage that I'm asking for, just a really, really nice tip as we continue to grow and make money. If you have any questions, let me know. Until the next time, permutationspro@gmail.com. See you on the next video. Take care.